In this section, we're going to determine how to evaluate front office operations. And there's really three key calculations that we use. We use occupancy percentage, which is the most commonly used operating ratio. We use average daily rate, and we use RevPar, which is revenue per available room. And in these slides, I'm going to show you how to calculate all three of these, and then at the end, show you how to calculate the RevPar index. So occupancy percentage is pretty simple. It's the number of rooms occupied divided by the number of rooms available in the hotel. Rooms occupied includes all rooms plus comp rooms, any rooms that you had that were complimentary. And rooms available, you use the rooms availability formula to determine how many rooms you have in the hotel. Generally speaking, you could just say that if you had a 100-room hotel, you multiply it times 365 days and get 36,500. In 2015, the average occupancy percentage in the United States was 64.4%. An example of how to calculate occupancy percentage is pretty simple. If we have 95 rooms and 5 comp rooms, and then we had a 150-room hotel, but we had 25 rooms out of order, you just take 100, divide it by 125, and you come up with 80%. So occupancy percentage is pretty simple to calculate as long as you have these numbers and it's over total available rooms. The other, which is also pretty easy to calculate, is average daily rate. And then with that, we just take our room revenue and divide it by the number of rooms sold. With that, rooms sold includes comps, even though sold implies that we got money for it, but we want to make sure that we include the comps because we included the comps in the occupancy percentage. And in 2015, the average daily rate in the United States was $113.42. Once again, a quick, easy example. If we had 10,000 rooms in revenue and we still had that same hotel that sold 95 and had 5 comps, we just divide the $10,000 by the 100 rooms and we come up with an average daily rate of $100. The other key indicator for the hotel industry is RevPar, revenue per available room. And this can be calculated two ways. You can take the room's revenue and divide it by the number of available rooms, but this is also essentially two parts of occupancy and average daily rate. So the other way to calculate it is to just multiply your occupancy percentage times your average daily rate. So in 2015, the average RevPar in the United States was $74.28. So a quick example of the two ways to calculate RevPar. One is we have the same hotel with $10,000 in revenue with the same number of rooms, 150 and 25 out of order. The 10,000 divided by how many rooms we had available on that given day is 125. So we come up with an $80 RevPar. As you can imagine from the other two examples, we had an occupancy percentage of 80% and an average daily rate of $100. So that obviously, once again, equals $80. A few things to remember about RevPar, that RevPar does not include revenue and costs from food and beverage and other outlets. It's just hotel revenue. And a good question to keep in mind is RevPar higher or lower than average daily rate? In this example, it's lower, and it is always lower except when they're equal. And the only time that RevPar is equal to average daily rate is when you have a perfect sell. When you sell every room, then the occupancy percentage is going to be 100%. So 100% times 100 would be 100. So RevPar can never be more than average daily rate, but it can be equal on a perfect sell. The last thing is RevPar index, which is a way to determine how your RevPar matches up with your competitive set's RevPar, and that's basically the hotels that you compete against. You decide who the competitive set is, but in order to make this a useful index, you need to use competitors that are actually your competitors. It's easy to inflate your RevPar index if you're a Four Seasons and you try to compare yourself to Motel 6s. Your RevPar index is going to be high, but it's not realistic. And there are multiple ways that you can get the RevPar from your competitive set. One's the STAR report from Smith Travel Research, and the other is Hotel RevMax. So this is readily available information that you can usually contract with Smith's Travel Research to obtain. So a quick example of how to calculate RevPar, pretty simple. If your revenue per available room is $58 and your comp set is 60, right now you know that you're not doing as well as they are because it's less. But $2 makes a big difference when you calculate it out. So you have a 96.6% RevPar index. So you're not making as much money as you could against your competitive set. One way to look at this is if you're below 100%, then you're underperforming. So in this example, this hotel is underperforming. If you're exactly at 100%, you're getting their fair share of the market, but you really want to be over 100%. You want to have a RevPar index higher than your competitive set. So another example, let's say if your RevPar was 58, your competitive set was 60, so that means you're losing $2. That might not seem like a lot, but when you take that and you multiply it times any month, let's say just December, $2 times 150 rooms in the hotel times 31 days, that's $9,300 per month that you're losing. So that $2 is much bigger than it looks when you just look at the difference between 58 and 60. Last few things on RevPar, as I said, you select a realistic comp set. You want to make sure that if you're luxury, you select luxury hotels. If you're economy, you select economy hotels. And really what your goal is a consistent increase in RevPar and to be over 100%. So ideally, you want a RevPar index above 100 and a positive percentage change from month to month. That concludes this section on operating statistics.